Nintendo has one of the most polarizing gaming catalogs out of any other gaming company, with notable franchises like Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Metroid, Pokemon, and many more being produced by Nintendo. At times, it seems like Nintendo is just competing with themselves, but one of the most notable series that is my absolute favorite are the 3D Mario games. These games are some of the most innovative and influential games of all time, defining what makes a perfect 3D platformer, and with each new game having a new theme and gimmick, it's never disappointing to see a brand new one get announced. Unlike some game series, I just wanted to let it be known before we get into the ranking video that this video will contain opinions.
Ooh, spooky.
So don't expect me to be going off some kind of watch mojo list or something. But if you would like to comment your list down below, I'll reply to it, and maybe other people will like your list more than mine. Also, just because I have a game lower on the list doesn't mean I hate it. All these games are absolutely amazing. With all that being said, let's get right into the ranking. Coming in at the worst 3D Mario game is Mario 64 DS. I know, this is probably not the most popular opinion to have at the worst spot, but this is of course a remake of Mario 64, which we'll see much further down in the list. Now for a remake, it's not too bad. In this game, you're able to play as Yoshi, Mario, Wario, and Luigi, which is a pretty cool idea, and it's something we're just not used to in 3D Mario games. Each of the characters though have their own pros and cons, but one of my favorite things about the 3D Mario games is the movement. I love being able to pull off crazy stunts with Mario and getting over obstacles that weren't intended to be cleared that way, and that's really what this game lacks. It feels more like a 2D platformer in a way, but in the 3D format like 3D Land and Mario 3D World, I feel like out of all the games on this list, this is the strangest one that's been released. It's very odd and I don't really understand why Nintendo even made this in the first place. Mario 64 in my opinion is nearly a perfect game, but when I play Mario 64 DS, I feel like I'm playing some sort of mod for Mario 64. Whenever I was younger, I really loved this game though, but this game aged very poorly for me. I replayed it before this ranking video on my 3DS XL and it just didn't hit the same at all. But I really love the concept and what they were trying to do. If they made a similar game to this, I feel like I would like it a lot more with updated graphics and stuff like that. Next up, we have Mario 3D Land. This game paved the way for games like Mario 3D World and even Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's the founding father of the 3D and 2D mixture games, so it gets bonus points for that, but it's one of my favorite 3DS games. Especially when I was younger, this was constantly being played on my 3DS. But of course, this game has the same problems as Mario 64 DS and just lacks movement, but I love this game a lot more than Mario 64 DS. Revisiting these two games really has proved how much my gaming taste has changed over the years. It really breaks my heart to put 3D Land this low, but it just can't compete with any of the other games further down on the list. But I would really love to see 3D Land get remade or ported over eventually in HD. A lot of newer fans need to be able to experience this game since it created the 2D and 3D genre. With Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon getting a port in HD to the Switch not that long ago, I can definitely see them adding 3D Land to HD pretty soon. I'm sure this spot was pretty obvious, but I have to put Mario 3D World right here. This is the sequel to Mario 3D Land, and this game improved off everything 3D Land did. First of all, we were able to play as 5 different characters: Mario, Luigi, Toad, Princess Peach, and Rosalina whenever you unlock her, and the Mario Galaxy stages. This was an incredible feature since it's like a mixture of Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario 3D Land. Since in both these games you can choose different characters with different abilities. Mario 3D World introduced a lot of different bosses too, and some of those little mini bosses got their own stage where you can get a green star in it. And how can we not forget the Meowser fight? This game's graphics were also incredible. Some of the stages in the game look absolutely stunning. The soundtrack is also top tier Mario music. All the music in this game is just iconic and so good. Mario 3D World is the definition of a peak 2D and 3D platformer, and I don't know if Nintendo will be able to top 3D World. Who knows if they'll even make another platformer like this for Mario. This is when the ranking starts to steam for me, since all of these games from here on out could honestly make the case to be the best one. Mario Sunshine not so much as the rest, but it's such an incredible game. I love the beachy tropical atmosphere that's included with Sunshine. I also don't understand why Mario Sunshine is just so hated by the 3D Mario fans. It is one of the more difficult 3D Mario games in the series as well, but I absolutely love the movement in this game. Using FLUDD to shoot water on the ground to slide faster and further is so much fun to do, and using FLUDD to flow in the air for a short period of time was also fun. This game also introduced a whole bunch of different Mario characters and enemies to the series, but I can agree that some of the enemies that were introduced in this game are some of the weirdest enemies ever introduced in the entire franchise, and the weird dialogue and cutscenes are kind of cringy as well.
Leave my mama alone, you bad man. I
But at least it added Petey Piranha and Toadsworth. Another flaw are the blue coins. Those things are so annoying to collect. There's no indication of ones you've missed in the previous levels as well. All you have is the total number you've collected throughout your playthrough, so you won't ever catch me collecting all those blue coins. Mario 64 set the expectations way too high for most people, which is why I think Mario Sunshine is so hated by 3D fans. But I will always love Sunshine. I hope one day it gets the justice it deserves. Next up, we have the one that started it all, Mario 64. If it wasn't for this game being so good, we probably wouldn't have any 3D platformers to begin with. But with this being the first ever 3D platformer, it did an outstanding job. Mario 64 is a perfect example of how Nintendo makes timeless classics, because this game was released in 1996 and is still considered one of the best games of all time. I always find myself going back to Mario 64. From the gameplay, music, and level design, what is there not to love about Mario 64? Now, of course, there are some pretty annoying flaws with this game. Since it was the first 3D platformer, the camera controls are a little crappy. Whenever I play this game, I die mostly because of the camera being trash. Also, some of the levels are just poorly designed, like Dire Docks. Other than those little nitpicks, this game is a masterpiece, while also being one of the most influential games of all time. Mario Odyssey is the newest 3D Mario game. Mario Odyssey has the best movements and controls from any other game on this list. The things you're able to pull off with Cappy is just insane. I love how Nintendo intentionally did that as well, to reward exploration and to get over obstacles your own way. Instead of going up a staircase that leads you to a moon, or you could just pull off an insane stunt to get to the moon instead of going up the stairs. It's crazy. The sky's the limit with Mario Odyssey, which is what I love so much about it. You can also customize Mario, which is something you can't do in any of the other games on this list, which gives it some bonus points. It gives you other things to collect other than the moons. The concept of being able to capture the form of almost anything in this game is just so much fun too. I really enjoy capturing the form of something like a Cheep to swim faster, or a Bullet Bill to fly around the stage to get somewhere even faster. Nintendo did an outstanding job with Odyssey. Everything about this game is pretty much perfect, and it would be my #1 option if it wasn't for the next two games on this list. What else can I say? Mario Galaxy is an absolute masterpiece, and I'm sure I don't even have to tell y'all that. This game's atmosphere is so immersive, and the music plays a big part in that. Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is arguably the best gaming soundtrack of all time. I think it's either between Mario Galaxy or Ocarina of Time. Both have some of the most legendary soundtracks of all time, and I can't decide which one's even better. But other than the soundtrack, Mario Galaxy is one of the most beautiful games Nintendo has ever made. The levels look gorgeous in this game. Beach Bowl Galaxy is one of my favorite looking levels in this game. Something about the beachy scenery here is just so amazing. Also, unlocking Rosalina's backstory in this game was very fun and interesting. The backstory behind Rosalina is just something very interesting in this game. Along with the story, Mario Galaxy is just very entertaining, and the cutscenes were actually an amazing inclusion to the story. The boss fights were very fun in Mario Galaxy as well, and some of the most difficult in the series. I really enjoyed the Bowser ones as well, and the designs of the bosses were just quirky and fitted the atmosphere so well. Well, I'm sure you all know it was coming. Pretty much everything I said about Mario Galaxy applies to Mario Galaxy 2. I feel like Mario Galaxy 2 improved off everything the first one did. One of the best things about Mario Galaxy 2 though is the inclusion of Yoshi. Whenever Yoshi was used in a level, it was just so much fun. Using the power-ups for Yoshi to get through the obstacles were neat as well. But the fact they made Mario Galaxy 2 feel so fresh after Mario Galaxy is what makes it even more impressive. It could have turned into a situation like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where people just call Tears of the Kingdom a $70 DLC, but no one ever said that about Galaxy 2. Instead, they praised it, and you can argue it's better than the first one as well. Well, that's my ranking of all the 3D Mario games. Are you mad that I didn't put 3D Land first? Tell me in the comments, and while you're down there, give me a mini ranking of your own. I love to see what y'all have to say, and I can't wait to see what Nintendo has in store for us in the next 3D Mario game. But when it comes out, you already know I'll be making an updated ranking. But with all that being said, peace out.